Our next guest has a really unique perspective on race relations, criminal justice, and small business. Charlane Brown Wyands is a 26-year veteran of the New York City Police Department. She is also an attorney as well as an entrepreneur as the owner of Legalnista, a company focused on providing legal and business advice and coaching to small businesses. I sat down with Charlane this week to talk and to listen. And Charlane, you are former NYPD. You are also an attorney and a small business owner. You wear many hats and have worn many hats. Where are we right now?
Wow, that's a very good and interesting question. We have definitely been on a number of roller coaster rides in the past couple of months. The nation is coming off of the COVID pandemic, still not certain if we're in the clear. Most cities are beginning to open up. I am located in New York and we still haven't opened up. So businesses are still trying to figure out how to open and how to properly launch. And in the midst of all of this, we are now experiencing outrage and protests that have impacted businesses. Personally, some of the protesters or people alleged to have been protesters have damaged business. So people are hurting not only personally, professionally, and still working on maintaining their health.
As a former police officer, when you're hearing talk today about defund the police, what's your thoughts, your feedback, your opinion?
So defunding the police is certainly one of the recommendations that is being tossed around to address police reform. And it's challenging. We know right now that everyone is looking for additional resources, but to defund departments, especially when there are additional calls for training and culture changes, might not be the best recommendation, because the money could be reallocated to assist in other initiatives that would be more beneficial to help some of the accountability and reform measures that are needed in policing in the nation.
So, I mean, what is the solution? I know that's a broad question, but when you see what's happening on the streets of not only New York City, but so many major cities, how do we start to heal what's happening?
That's a great question. I think we're beginning to see the signs of healing, but because there has been such distrust and because the wound that has been uncovered has been so severe, I think people aren't ready to be cautiously optimistic yet. But to answer your question, I think one of the first things is to really address culture. Many corporate institutions have D&I, diversity professionals, embedded within their companies, and they have taken on issues of culture internally. Police departments have not. A few have. I think in California, there's one or two departments that are experimenting with having those type of departments. But I think one of the first critical things that has to happen is that police departments have to start addressing the culture. Laws by themselves can help enforce and shape behavior, but you need that internal culture change that has to happen before people can adopt and embrace those changes. It's great to see a chief take a knee, someone at the top taking the knee. That's a start, because people look to cues to leaders to start. But we have to have that change from the top and the bottom and the side, and that deals with culture. So
tell me a little bit about your business, your day-to-day business, because we're definitely a program about supporting women in business.
Certainly would love to share that. So when I retired, I was sort of reimagining myself in my second career. I always had a passion for helping small businesses. While I was a police officer, I went to law school and I became an attorney and decided to expand my law practice. So I have a law practice and I'm also in the real estate space. But I became very passionate about helping small business owners and particularly small women businesses. And many small businesses lack the resources, sufficient capital, access to capital to get started. Many small businesses fall into the trap of not knowing how to move or develop, because you want to run your business, but then there's the compliance side of your business. There's the marketing, there's the social media, there's the proper legal structure and entity. So I decided to devote a good portion of my practice to working with small businesses, help develop and grow. And so I've expanded that because smaller businesses need additional help and support and resources. And with that, I launched my company called Legalnista. And it is the goal of Legalnista to assist small businesses by providing appropriate legal forms, business formation services, and business coaching.
How can you calm residents here and business owners here that there is hope for brighter days?
New Yorkers are resilient. We're resilient, and we've been through a lot. We've been through September 11th. We've been through Hurricane Sandy, and we will make it through this. And I'm a tried and true New Yorker, and I always believe in New York. And hopefully there'll be some lasting change and reform. There are some people in place that are being thoughtful now, and this is really opening a broader conversation about how businesses can get involved and assist in the fight for social justice. So that being said, everyone has a part and everyone has a role. And I think there will be a brighter side, and New York will survive and come back and be better than ever. And New York will reinvent itself.
I think so too. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and your absolutely unique perspective. It's been so helpful and interesting.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
If you'd like more information on Legalnista, you can contact Charlane directly on Instagram, and that handle is @Legalnista.